Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Well, you've waited a week. Almost said a year, but it felt like a year, right? You waited a week, ladies and gentlemen. This is Angel from Half Faith, Let It Begin. Don't adjust your dials. I have been under the weather for a couple days, and I am not going to make you miss out on part 2 of this crazy date story. So here we go. Without further ado, Crazy Date Story Part 2, Dinner for Two, continues, entitled, Did That Just Happen? Half Faith, Let It Begin. Thursday edition, October 28th, 2021, starts right now.
Check this out. Broadcasting live worldwide.
Hi, Daddy.
Ariel, can you say have faith?
Again.
On June 16th, 2018, a show designed for you, the Daily Commuter, went live. A weekly show all about faith. A show with motivational topics, inspirational stories, and personal testimony set out to change the world.
Have faith, let it begin. One day you'll say it. Can you say have faith, let it begin? Huh? Yeah. Yeah? Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you.
Welcome to Have Faith. Let it begin. Here's your host, Angel Santana.
Ariel, can you say have faith?
Again.
Let it begin.
Again.
Say have faith.
Again.
Let it begin.
No.
No? Okay. Picking up where we left off from last week, folks, thank you for listening to Crazy Date Stories. Well, as many of you remember, I was asked to go back for a nightcap, not knowing that Dawn's mother would join us for a movie. And the movie was The Shawshank Redemption. We get ready to sit down, and popcorn is made, candles were lit, all by Dawn's mother, Beverly. And we finally sit down, and she decides to sit down in between us. The movie began, and so did the bizarre evening. About 10 minutes into the film, I noticed that somebody was playing with my hair. Now, at first, I was a little creeped out because it was quite obvious that it was not Beverly. It was Dawn. You see, I looked over to my left, and I noticed that Dawn had reached out her hand from behind and was playing with my hair. And I thought it was pretty cool. Her hand was extended outward, and I figured, okay, excellent. So I decided it was time for me to extend my hand around. What I didn't realize was by extending my hand around, it would appear as if I was putting my arm around Beverly. That's when I felt the hand on my left knee. That's right. Beverly decided to put her hand on my left knee. That really made me decide it was time to get up real quick. And I said, okay, gotta go to the restroom. I got up, went to the restroom, and said, what in the heck is this? But I figured if I went to the restroom, washed my hands, did everything I had to do, I would come back and purposely sit on the other side where I could sit next to Dawn. And this way it would have looked as if it was kind of natural and wasn't like I was uncomfortable. So I came back from the bathroom and I said, I'm going to snuggle with my little snug bug today. Miss Dawn, would you like me to sit next to you? And Dawn, was okay with it. Dawn said, yeah, right here, come on. And you could see that Beverly didn't quite like that. So at one point through the night, during the movie, there was a blanket on top of all of us, and we started to hold hands, Dawn and I, and eventually throughout the movie, which is, by the way, it's a great movie, Shawshank Redemption, Dawn did fall asleep, and she put her head on my shoulder. Excuse me, as her head was on my shoulder, I kept watching the movie. I was into it. She fell asleep with her head on my shoulder and one arm, holding my hand, one hand holding my hand. And at one point, I remember starting to doze off. And next thing you know, I was asleep. And oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking about this. I fell asleep. And when I was, when you're in a sleep and you start to wake up but your eyes are still closed? Okay. So I'm starting to wake up, my eyes are closed, and I could feel these hands in my hair. As if somebody was rubbing my hair. And I remember getting this very, very soft, sensual, respectful kiss on my cheek, around my earlobe. And the kiss became, the kiss around the earlobe became closer to my cheek. And it started to get closer to my mouth. And just before the kiss occurred, I was able to open my eyes, and it was not dawn. Yeah. You see, what happened was, throughout the rest of the movie, Beverly must have caught wind that we both fell asleep. Beverly woke up her daughter and said, why don't you go to sleep? We'll let Angel sleep on the couch. And Dawn complied, and Beverly decided to stay there. And when I realized that Beverly was kissing me, I literally said, what's going on? And she said, oh, nothing. You look so cute, and I just wanted to make sure you're all right. I'm like, yeah, but you kissed me. You tried to kiss me on the mouth. She says, I did not. I says, okay, but you did. I says, where's Dawn? She says, she went to bed. I go, okay, well, I'm going to go. She says, no, don't go. Let's watch another movie. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm really good. I said, can you let her know that, I had a really good evening and that I would call her? And she says, sure, no problem. Can I walk you to the car? I'm like, no, I'm really good. And she says, okay, no problem. And yeah, it was really freaky. I went to the car and I got in the car and I didn't know what to think. I got to be honest. I was sitting there going, my goodness, for a few seconds while my eyes were closed, I was enjoying that kiss on the earlobe. I got to be honest, And then to wake up and realize it wasn't the person that you thought was kissing you. Yeah, exactly. But here's where it gets interesting. So the next day, Beverly doesn't report to work, which is Monday. And I was worried about that. And of course, as a manager, sometimes when somebody doesn't call to tell me they're not coming in, I do take it upon myself to call them at home, make sure they're okay. So when I called them at home, I realized that, Beverly didn't answer the phone. I left her a message. About a good 2 or 3 hours later, I did get a phone call, but this time it was from a number I didn't recognize. And it was Dawn. You see, Dawn and I remember never exchanged numbers. Sure enough, her number was private when she called me. So when I spoke with Dawn, she told me that her mom was a little under the weather. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. Hope she feels better, and let her know that we're thinking about her. And Dawn decided to... I started to ask Dawn about how you enjoyed the date. And Dawn was like, yeah, date was good. It was definitely, it was different. I said, well, I hope we can do it again sometime, and maybe, just go out, the two of us. And she says, what do you mean? I says, I said, listen, I love Bev, to death. She's one of my best salespeople, but I was kind of a little disappointed. I wanted to go out on a date with just you, and I didn't expect her to be there. She says, well, that's funny. She told me that you wouldn't go on a date with me unless she was present. And I said, excuse me? I says, I don't understand. I said, you know everything about me, and you know that we talked a lot about my past, and especially on the emails. And she says, what do you mean? I says, well, when we speak on the email, I told you a little bit about what I did and what I liked, and we got pretty, detailed. And then she's like, yeah, but we only spoke on the emails, once or twice. And I says, no, we did about like 50 emails. Well, it turns out that Beverly was actually the person emailing me. It wasn't her daughter. That's right. Beverly had a crush on me. And Beverly was trying to get to know me through her daughter. And she was using her daughter as a way to try to get my attention. That's right. So what's really bizarre about all this, guys, is that I purposely left out certain things about the email conversation. Because if I did that, it would have kind of given away everything. So I kind of somewhat left out purposely certain things on the email discussions that I knew would make you all go, oh, wow, I wonder if she's doing the emails. But this is where it really turns interesting. The daughter really wasn't interested in me. The daughter became interested in me at the dinner. You see, what happened was Beverly had told her that I was into older women. And Beverly told her that she really didn't feel comfortable going on a date with me without her daughter. So the backstory really is that Beverly had always showed interest in me. And because I was always very, very nice to her and flirtatious with her, I used to say to her at the job that I should eventually just date an older woman. And what I didn't realize was she took that as a sign of, okay, maybe I'm hitting on her. So she wanted to know more and more about me. So as she basically explored about me, she decided to use her daughter as a way to get an opening of a door. So we started to talk, Dawn and I. I think Dawn realized that I wasn't really interested in Beverly. But you see, now I know what you're thinking. How can that be, given the fact that she met up with you, you guys talked on the phone, and she wanted to speak to you? Well, I'm going to explain. You see, when we were talking on the phone, she kept asking me questions primarily about how it's like to work with my mom. And the conversation was never truly about her and I. The conversation always was about her mother. And her mother would tell her that, you know, I wanted to meet her daughter, and that I knew that the daughter would probably feel a little uncomfortable dating her mother, so I wanted to actually meet the daughter first. I mean, she manipulated the whole thing. The whole thing was done so perfectly, to the point where the daughter actually believed that this was set up so that I could meet the daughter first and work backwards. So, I know a lot of you are thinking, well, wait a minute, then she's the one that asked you for the nightcap. Well, of course, because the mother already had told her that her plan was to bring me back and watch a movie, but she was too nervous. So all this was orchestrated around Beverly's intention to see if maybe she could, get me on an official date. I know that sounds crazy. Trust me, it was bizarre. So eventually Beverly did come back, and I spoke with her private, and I told her, I says, was this ever about Dawn and I, or was this always about you and I? And she says, well, I wanted it to be about you and I, but I quickly realized that when I showed you a picture of my daughter, that it was not about you and I, but I had already set everything in motion with my daughter that I couldn't really back out of the deal. She says, I was kind of embarrassed. I says, well, Bev, you didn't have to be embarrassed. I mean, you could have easily just said to me that you were interested in me. I says, I would have told you that I was not, interested in older women. But, I admire the courage and the fact that you tried. I says, to be honest with you, you're the first person that's ever showed interest in me and would do, so, above and beyond so much stuff to gain my attention. And she says, well, I just want you to know my daughter was very interested in you toward the end of the evening, so much that when you fell asleep and I asked her to leave, she and I got into a discussion, and she said that she was not sure if I was into her. And so I said, okay, well, I understand. And so Beverly, and I became very good friends, very close friends. And we decided that it would be in our best interest not to pursue her daughter, because I didn't want to have any issues or problems. So, about 2 months later, I had gone through another dry spell. Everything was good, and I was about to venture on a new date, another crazy date story. And I remember meeting this person through a mutual friend. You'd think I would have learned by then. And I decided I loved the food so much at that Italian place that I decided to take my next date there. I know what you're thinking, why? But it was good food. So I took my next date there, and we're getting ready to eat dinner. And I remember sitting there and having a great time at the dinner, an amazing time. And I remember excusing myself to go to the restroom. And as I was going to the restroom, I noticed at a table there was Beverly and her daughter. So I was like, whoa, this is weird. So I figured, let me try anyway and be nice and civil. So I kind of beelined in her direction and said, hey guys, I didn't know you guys were here. And they looked at me with this crazy face. And I said, what's the matter? I says, you didn't expect me to be here? She's like, no, it's coincidence. I'm like, oh yeah. I says, no problem. And I could see that there was a napkin already on her plate, on her lap. And I saw that the mother was kind of in the same position. And at that moment, another gentleman arrived. And I looked up and saw him, and I looked at them, and I said, you guys have a great dinner. You know what was happening, right? That guy was in for another crazy night. That's right. And I pretty much told my date, you may want to sit around on my side. I'm going to show you something that's really something funny. And this crazy date story will continue on with this other date where we actually watch the same situation happen, but right in front of our very own eyes. That's our crazy date story finale. It was bizarre. It was crazy, but nonetheless, it was an interesting experience. I will hope that all of you will continue on and listen to us tomorrow, Halloween special edition. And since it's Halloween weekend, God bless you, God keep you, and never forget, have faith, let it begin. Thank you for listening to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. That's right, Ariel. We're done with another show. And it's always great to have this show with you, my love. We're going to encourage each and every person to listen to our show every single weekday. That's right, you and I are going to help change the world. Do you think that you can do that for me? Huh? Yeah, you know you can. She does. We want to let you know, and yes, we encourage you to listen to our show each and every weekday, and it's going to be live at 7:30. Make sure you're subscribed to our show. Make sure you get ready, fasten those seatbelts, because Ariel and I and my family are going to bring you a new topic, a new story each and every day, right? Isn't that right, Ariel? Yeah. And she's smiling at me. Guys, enjoy your day.